Namaste. Today I want to talk about some basic issues with respect to what is called user interface or user experience design in systems. When as a developer, you are very often concerned about the programming language sophistication or the fancy libraries and primitives and all the jing bang that you can put on the screen. But very rarely do we actually think about how your application is going to be used by the actual end users. And used very often the end users are not IT people, may have relatively less background about the IT conventions or use software conventions. Of course, today with the massive proliferation of mobile apps and technologies, most people would know. To see when they see a screen, they can recognize the basic component. They would know where the power off is or where the pause and other buttons are. But again, there will be many users who are possibly not that comfortable also. But there are a lot of literature about building applications which the users would want to use, would love to use, and of course many applications which are kind of forced to the users to use, so they will use it because they don't have an option to go. But it will be nice if we can actually focus on making it comfortable to them. So people have come up with this notion of user experience versus user interface. So the experience is actually how the user actually feels, how comfortable it is for them to get a task done. The interface is more syntactic, what you see on the screen, the buttons, the uniform conventions, and location of the different options on the screen. Where the menu should be located, where the additional information is, and things like that, which is important. You should have a reasonably uniform convention with respect to location of common items. The help button should be always at a standard place. The menu should be always at some standard place. So many content management systems and all that set those templates for you so that you don't have to worry about it from screen to screen. But for an application, that may be important. So very often it is good to have a UI team who can actually set up the template for you and the coding guidelines and all that. So everybody has to just follow it, and the application would have a uniform look and feel. But I'm actually concerned about going beyond that and the comfort of the user there. So there was a book I was reading the other day called Design for How Users Think. So I think the key point is that we actually need to understand what is the user's mindset, background, or the knowledge that they have, and the severity or the criticality of the task that they are doing are very critical factors in building the user interface or the user experience. Basically, because whatever critical information is required should be easily accessible to them, and the possibility of getting an error because they overlook something should be minimized. So these are all broader concerns than technology concerns. And today, if you look at compared to the user interface options that we had available 30 years back when we started doing development, we had basically a black and white, or most of the time it was green and black kind of interface screens, and there was no color to use. There was no mouse, there is no point and click, and all that you could do was to type of buttons on the keyboard. There used to be some special characters like a control character which allows you to do something on the screen other than simply typing. But that was all we could do. But very good applications were built even at that time. So the quality of application is not that much dependent on all this fancy technology that you have available, but more about how these technologies are used for the purpose that is intended. Okay, so I think that is what we are missing, because we are all very proud or very happy about teaching the intricacies of the language, but we don't actually teach them that you need very little of the language to actually write good programs. but there is a lot of non-language elements that need to be brought in to build a good program. So, sometime back, I was actually reading a book on GUI, and it has actually given some simple guidelines as to what are some key elements of a user interface. In this case, specifically for computers, and those guidelines are like this. Every screen should show where am I, how did I come here, and how do I get out of here. Okay, I think this is powerful, very simple depiction for us to check whenever we are designing a screen or an intervention, that the user should understand. When you go out and come back, you should not say, "Arey, what is this screen? Where did I stop?" Right? So, like the way you would do a bookmark when you are leaving a book to take a break, the screen should communicate as to where am I at any point in time. Because when you come back, when you are maybe you get a call, you are attending to the call, you come back, and then you're suddenly lost. Am I in this module or am I in that module? Am I doing this activity or am I doing this activity? Have I finished this? Have I only started this? These are very, very important elements for any system, but you can see that very often this is something that we miss out. So it is important that the system tells you where you are. It is also important, how did I come here? I mean, what activity initiated me? I was trying to reply to something. I was trying to process an fresh application with a new application, but and all that kind of things. So the path. And this is usually indicated by what you can see on the top of the screen in many applications, and what is called breadcrumbs, which gives you from the main to the sub to the sub to the sub. So there is a very small line that you got. Very often these the markers there are clickable. So if you want to go back to the main screen, you can actually just click there. Or if you want to go back to the previous screen, you can do. But even if it is not clickable, at least you understand the path that you took to reach here. And as the page changes, the path will also change, that you're going back, you're going forward, and all that. And how do I get out of here? Is a question of, for example, where is this? Can I save the current work for me to take a break or to go out for some time? Or can I? How do I cancel this this stage of the application? What will be its implications? How do I recommend or move to the next stage? How do I go back to the previous stage? So how do I get out of the screen? And similarly, sometimes things are bad, or there may be something urgent that I want to go back to the home page, or I want to actually log out and get out of the system. Right. So all of these options, along with the implications of them, because sometimes some options may not be directly performable, because it may have some implications, data loss and all that we need to be communicated to the user. Right. So the get out. I mean, I remember some time back when I got a new laptop. Just to locate the power button took me almost an hour or something, because in the olden days it was very visible, because there was a power arrow, that icon, and the power button used to be quite visible and big. But now with this sophisticated concept of making the system seamless or look nice, these buttons are now located in some remote corners, and the button is indistinguishable from the background. So it's very hard to go and locate where the power button is, which is very silly, because that's the first thing that any user would want. You can blindfold it, you should be able to go and do that. So I think keeping the buttons at a standard location throughout the application, as well as giving it some suitable color coding and making it very visible, or bringing it up quickly. These are all very basic things that would help you to do. How do I get out of here? There are more things that I wanted to share with you on user interface, particularly how the system would respond to the user, and what are the issues to worry about it. What are the technology options that that is today available for you to make the user experience better? So that is the topic for another day. So for today, take care. And All the best.